Hi, it's Brian Newman with the Spotlight of Business Owner Show. And today we're thrilled to have Sharon Von Lentz. She's with Crossroads Counseling. Hi, Sharon. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great, Brian. How are you?
Good. Good. Thanks for being on here. Yeah, you got a fabulous business that I think could benefit quite a few people. Can you, before we get into it, if you could be so kind, tell us a little bit about your background and how
Mhm.
you became a psychologist?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, I think I recognized my calling at a young age. I was about 15 years old, and whether it was a family member or a friend or a stranger on the street corner, they were always telling me their life story and their problems. So I kind of decided if this is going to happen anyway, I might as well get paid for it.
Oh, wow. Wow. Where did you go to school and how long did you go?
Well, I went to ASU undergraduate and then Cal State Northridge for my master's and a doctorate at the University of Denver. So it was about 7 years of graduate school. And
Wow.
then I went to work for the Department of Defense, the Navy,
Oh,
um,
wow.
4 years in San Diego and Long Beach. And after that, I moved back to Phoenix, where I grew up. And I went to work for the VA in Phoenix for 8.5 years. And after that, I left in about 2001, and they were going through downsizing, and there were a lot of politics involved. So I decided to go into private practice, and that was about 22 years ago. And I've
Oh,
been in
wow.
Paradise Valley at the office at near Tatum and Cactus for 12 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that sounds, boy, what a background. Yeah, I mean, I had no idea that you did all that. There's different types of therapy. I
Mhm.
know, there's therapy for depression, for anxiety, for smoking cessation, sleep disorders. What do you focus on?
Well, most of the people that come to see me, I work with children and adults as well as couples. Most of the people that come to see me have anxiety or panic disorder. It seems to be on the increase, especially since the pandemic. I think the stress of life has just, gotten harder on people, and they're managing careers and children, and it's just too much for a lot of people. So I mostly work with cognitive behavioral therapy, and that is you change somebody's stinking thinking. The negative thoughts are what leads to the anxiety and the panic. So if you can control the negative thoughts and turn them into positive thoughts, you can pretty well manage anxiety. So
Well,
that's majority of what I do. And then a smaller percentage, maybe 20% of people come into therapy to kind of resolve issues from childhood with their parents, or, maybe they were mistreated. And then that's more of a psychodynamic approach. And so I do both depending on the person.
oh, okay. That must be rough running a business like that where you're constantly listening to people's problems. What are the biggest obstacles and challenges you experience running a business like this?
Well, I'd say it's dealing with insurance. 2/3 of the psychologists in Paradise Valley don't take insurance anymore, which means
Oh,
it's a cash pay business. And I understand why. It's because of the headaches. Um, you get claims rejected and then you have to reprocess them. I mean, I have good insurance billers, but one of the problems I'm dealing with right now is one client had two insurances. She gave me her secondary instead of her primary to bill. So I billed them, they paid me, and now they want $900 back because the primary insurance should have paid. And by then it was too late to bill the primary insurance and they were all rejected. So now the client's going to end up with a $900 bill.
Oh, great.
that they didn't
Wow.
expect. So, that's kind of an extreme case. I haven't had anything that bad for, years, but just constantly having to keep track of the payments. I'm not really an accountant, but
Uh,
that's the hard part of the business to me.
oh, okay. I know a good CPA that I could recommend if you need help.
Yeah,
No, what?
luckily I'm married to one. Yeah,
I know, I know. No, what? Yeah, I was going to ask you, Sharon, what's the best way that people could reach you? Do you have a website they can go to and read about your therapy sessions
sure.
or
Yeah,
would you rather
it's
them call you? Okay.
either way, whatever. The majority of people probably reach out by email, but my own personal website is DRSHARONVONLENTZ.com. And they can send out an email that way. They can also call me at 602-334-3776. I'm easy to reach that way. And I usually do a 15-minute conversation with people when they do call, or email me. I reach back out to them, kind of do um, 5 or 6 questions over the phone to be sure they're a good match for my practice. And I see people both in person and virtually.
Oh, I was going to ask you if you do the virtual.
Sure.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
good to
most
know.
therapists do since COVID. And I think a lot of therapists and psychiatrists, for that matter, have gone all virtual and don't see people in person. And I think that's kind of a disservice, to the field. So the majority of people that call me want to be seen in person.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I would think that would be probably more effective. But
Well, the
you know,
interesting thing is, research shows they're equally effective, but I have a hard
oh,
time believing it.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I was just curious about that. No, if you know someone or whoever's watching, if they know somebody that has some problems, what advice would you give them basically to their friends to go seek help?
Well, I would encourage them to, you can call on behalf of someone else if you have their permission. I get calls from, wives so their husband can come in. Um, People may be anxious about reaching out because they don't know me, but I'm easy to talk to. I don't give shots, I don't bite. So hopefully, just a little bit of encouragement will allow someone to get help. But, sometimes I do see people that have having problems for 10 years and then they finally come in. It's a lot harder to solve that kind of a problem than somebody that's just had a problem for a year or two. So I encourage you to reach out and find somebody that's going to be a good match. It may not be the first person you meet with, so be selective. Be
Oh,
sure that
okay.
that person's listening and giving you good feedback.
Is there still a stigma, about seeking mental health help?
I
And
think
if
there I think there is still, not as much, I don't think, in the US, but the US is combined, so many different cultures. I think um, Latinos have a much harder time. People from, say, India, Pakistan, it's much more culturally a no-no. But I'm even getting, people from those countries. And, at one time I was saying I felt like the United Nations. I had people from India, Pakistan, Turkey, and Iran.
wow.
So I think slowly the stigma is receding. So people are getting
Oh,
more
okay.
help.
I know a lot of people who are going through anxiety disorders. Why do you think that's so common?
Well, I guess, as I was saying before, the stress of life is getting harder. I mean, prices of everything are going up. you've got two parents working and they're trying to take care of kids, and some of them are going to school also, and it's just hard to have enough resources to take care of all that, especially if you don't have relatives in town helping you with kids and stuff. And so I think
Mm.
the stress of life has just gotten to be too much, and people don't do the things that are good for them to reduce stress. Proper diet, exercise, relaxation training, maybe some yoga, um, coming in for counseling. They don't do things that, they think they don't have time for those things. And so that therefore the stress gets them, and then they can't sleep, and then they go to work the next day and they're exhausted.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to ask you also, a lot of the viewers, I don't know how familiar they are with a psychologist versus a psychiatrist. Can you just point out like major difference?
Sure, that's an easy one. A psychiatrist goes to medical school and then does internship in psychiatry so they can prescribe medicine. So usually if you see one, the first time they should see you for 45 minutes or an hour, but after that it's going to be a 15-minute visit to see if the medication's working, if you're having any side effects, and then maybe they'll, either resubscribe it or put you on something different. Whereas a psychologist, I've been trained in like 12 different schools of therapy, and spent 7 years in graduate school just learning how to do counseling and help people through um, evidence-based treatments.
Yeah. So again, you don't use any medicine.
No, and most people come in, they don't know the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist, and they call me sometimes and ask for medication. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes some of the insurance companies that I work with have me improperly on their website saying I'm a psychiatrist. I've seen that too. So it's very easy to understand how people confuse the two.
Is there anything that you'd recommend for people like going through anxiety that they could apply at home, like maybe music therapy or sports or
Sure,
exercise?
sure. Exercise would be the first thing. I think music therapy is very good for people. Um, a lot of times people can use music to help them fall asleep. So they stop thinking over and over about some worry. Um, Essential oils are great too, like lavender to help you sleep. I think those can be very helpful as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, finally, can you remind people that are listening what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, they can feel free to give me a call at 602-334-3776, or my email, which is CROSSROADS11811 at gmail.com. It is working again today. I think yesterday I was having some internet outage problem, but it's working
Oh,
today. So I got a bunch of emails.
oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So again, I'm reminding everyone, yeah, we're listening to Sharon Von Lentz. She's with Crossroads Counseling. So reach out to her and don't wait too long. Do it now before it's too late. So yeah, and again, she can see you in person and over Zoom or remotely. So that's really a nice feature. So thank you, Sharon, for being on here. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate you interviewing me today, and I'd be glad to help whoever wants to call.
Okay. All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.